And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. The season is over, done, finito. I am out of languages to say done and over. And Bryan brought us up. Now it's time to get into full blown off-season mode. Man, Bryan, you know, we could just take this opportunity before we get into full blown draft mode and all that. I just got a couple questions for you, Bryan, bro. I got a little something for you. Man, Bryan, I was looking on the social medias today, and it was Adam Schefter, it was Rappaport, it was one of them characters. One of them characters. They said that the Chicago Bears have interest in our beloved Mike McCarthy. Now, Bryan, I got an opinion. I got an opinion on this, but we could take this in a couple different directions, Bryan. You can react to that, but the deeper conversation I want to get into is, are the Cowboys dragging their feet on this kind of thing? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, if you have any type of coaching ambiguity, then you ain't got no coach, Bryan. That's how I feel, right?
Sure.
So when we hear about the Jets or the Jags fired their coach, or the Patriots fired their coach, maybe they're going after Mike Vrabel or whatever, right? Vrabel. And then we hear that the Bears have interest in Mike McCarthy and they want to reach out to him, right? Are the Cowboys dragging their feet with this whole coaching thing, and will they run out of time if they keep doing it, Bryan Broaddus?
My personal experience of working with the Dallas Cowboys, 14 years, where Mike McCarthy might have a little advantage now with the Bears wanting to talk to him, is that the Joneses don't generally react unless their feet are put to the fire. The Joneses generally don't like losing somebody to another team if they like that person. Example, Will McClay. You know, they always, anytime that somebody wanted to interview Will McClay for a position, the Cowboys circle back and say, well, let's do this with your salary, Will. Let's do this with another year. Let's do this with. I think we're getting closer to the time that Will McClay is going to want to go run his own team, by the way.
Sure.
Just my 2 cents. Yeah. You know, there was a time where, you know, he was staying around because of his son. And his son's getting older now, and, you know, he's able to maybe entertain some jobs. I think Will's getting closer to that. That's just my opinion. But the Joneses, look what they did with Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, all of a sudden, Dan Quinn has opportunities. Dan Quinn, by the way, I thought had the Denver Bronco job.
Sure.
Had the Denver Bronco job. I was told by a very, very, very reliable source that Dan Quinn was going to the Denver Broncos, and their president of their team stepped in and said, well, we're selling the team, offensive coach. And then here comes Nathaniel Hackett for a year, kind of a thing. Dan Quinn had that job, but what did the Joneses do? They don't want to lose Dan Quinn.
Do some money at him.
Let's put some money at him. So the Joneses, it's a unique organization because they don't do anything quickly unless their feet are put to the fire. I just know from, like I say, from my own personal experiences of, hey, we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do, and let's wait and see. Let's see what's going on. Look how they do their contracts.
Sure.
You know, it's not until they're put in that situation. Me personally, are they moving slow? Absolutely. You and I have talked about this a bunch.
Yeah.
You know, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones talking glowingly about Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy is sitting there and you're thinking like, well, damn, they like this guy. You know, Jerry Jones, roll up your sleeves, get on the phone with Don Yee, and let's get this thing done. You know, nothing.
Yeah.
You know, but we continue to talk about the job we really like about Mike McCarthy. You know, so yeah, I don't really know what to believe. As people know, Mike and I share the same agent. I called Don and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Don Yee. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm having lunch right now. Well, what's going on? You know more than me.
Mm.
You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and I think Don's just being honest,
Sure.
about it. I mean, he's also joking with me. He knows a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, though, that the Joneses, they go at their own pace. They really do. They just, unless they are threatened. And maybe now, if, say, New Orleans were to jump in, so now you got Chicago and New Orleans. What if the Jets, who's interviewing everybody who's ever coached a football team,
Sure.
what if the Jets want to interview him? If you're the Cowboys, you now have to make a decision, because the man is going to have, if he potentially has 3 interview opportunities and you're holding up things, that doesn't look very good.
Yeah.
And they might not give a damn what everybody else thinks. But, if Mike McCarthy, if they want to get Mike McCarthy done, they need to work on this right now, I think.
Sure.
Before all of a sudden it's Chicago, New Orleans, the Jets, Jacksonville. People are going to start getting into the search, and you can't hold up things then. If your intention is to sign the man up, get it done. Now, what I think might also happen too, Voch, is that maybe they'll try and lowball him. Maybe it won't be a 4-year deal, maybe not even a 3-year deal. And well, we'll think about 3 years, but we really want to give you a 2-year deal and we want to pay you this. Mike McCarthy then has to make a decision. Is that being disrespectful to him? Or does Mike McCarthy not have anywhere to go and he needs a 3-year deal? It gets him 3 more years in the league. It also helps his coaching staff. Those are the things that I think Jerry Jones might also look at it and say, listen, hey, we want to do this with the years. We want to do this financially, but we'd also like you to consider having a different play caller. We'd like for you to maybe consider a new offensive line coach. We'd like for you to, there's some demands, but Mike McCarthy can also make some demands too. Like, listen, I'll sign this, but I want you to do this. I'd like for you to do this. And so that's where this thing is the rub is right now, is that the Cowboys traditionally, I mean, remember the last one, Jason Garrett sat in his office and packed one pencil at a time in his box going home.
Yeah.
They just do not do anything with any pace until it absolutely has to be done. And so wouldn't surprise me if that holds true as we talk again.
See, Bryan, I think that's the goofiest thing in the world, bro. I just think that's just absolutely ridiculous to even play the negotiation game, because in my mind, right, if my last name was Jones, Bryan, you're either good enough to be my head coach or you ain't. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you're the best, so you can stay, but I'll pay you for cheap or something like that. Or you could just go deal with Chicago or something like that.
They're comfortable with the guy.
That sounds goofy. That sounds goofy, Bryan, for this group of gentlemen that say that they want to do everything to win. Bryan, I was listening to y'all's show. Y'all was listening to Brother Steven, and y'all was like, hey man, what the business is? He ain't say it like I think you asked. You didn't say it just like this, me saying it. Hey, Steven, this Bryan Broaddus here. What the business is with all the coaching? And Steven was like, oh, well, we got to get ready for a game. Like your ass got to coach. Like you gotta call the plays, or like you gotta go hit the weight room or something. You should be able to make this decision should have been made a long time ago. This decision should have been made in week 13. Like, hey man, this ain't looking great. I'm gonna go. This is the decision that we're making, and we're moving forward week 19 of this thing. What are we waiting to the 14th for? I'm not asking you because we don't know. But what the hell are we waiting to the 14th for? Meanwhile, everybody else making them phone calls. And look, this is probably the best time to talk to Ben Johnson. He has this bye week and he ain't got football going on right now. This would be the best time to talk to him. But nah, let's wait till everybody else get involved. Wait till all the other pretty girls come to the party, bro. It's frustrating, bro. And the older I get, the more nonsensical it sounds. The older I get.
Yeah. Sure. No, I don't disagree with anything you're saying there. It's frustrating working in the organization.
Wow.
You know, when you've been places where things are very proactive when it comes to getting things done. You know, we need to get this done today. We need to get this done today, and it's not getting done today. And that's a very frustrating thing. You know, like I say, when you worked at places where you've seen it done. Now, I've been to some places too where we've done it the wrong way. I'm not going to act like everywhere is the greatest place in the world, but when it comes to certain things, the Joneses absolutely take their time in doing it, and it's exhausting. It really is. You're just like, but you know what's going to happen. You know that unless they're provoked, they're not going to do anything. And I think you're absolutely right about the decision on it. You know, this decision should have been made. You know, this decision should have been made weeks ago.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not going to bring him back. This is where now I feel like where this could happen. If there's a change, I'm going to give you who my guy is. Personally, I'd love me, and I know there's a lot of people that have problems with John Gruden. That'd be great. John and I are very, very close. I'd love for John to get the opportunity, but it wouldn't surprise me. I think where this thing is going to fall, I think it's going to fall in Kellen Moore's lap. I think it's going to fall in Kellen Moore's lap. I think it's going to be, and I know Kellen Moore has been requested to already be interviewed for a job. I forgot who it was that asked for permission for him. But don't be surprised if McCarthy and Jerry can't come to an agreement and Kellen Moore's the guy they go after. That's where I think. I don't think it's about the Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Saints asked. There you go. I'm sorry. Yeah, Saints. So keep an eye on that one. That Kellen Moore, I think he's the fallback if they can't get something done with Mike. And then because I think Mike Vrabel, who I believe they really, really like, is going to end up in New England.
Yeah.
I think Ben Johnson is personally, I think Ben Johnson's going to end up in Chicago myself. It'd be interesting because Ben Johnson, does he want to go to a division that looks pretty damn strong right now?
Sure.
You know, but Ben Johnson, I thought he was going to end up in Jacksonville because I thought they were going to blow out Trent Baalke too, the GM there. But they're keeping him for some unknown reason. My man Trent Baalke's gone through 4 coaches since he's 2 in San Francisco and 2 in Jacksonville that have not worked out at all. Yeah. So surprised he stayed there. But I think Kellen Moore is a legitimate candidate here if the Joneses can't get an agreement with Mike McCarthy.
Let me ask you a question, bro.
With the thought of maybe getting Jason Witten involved some way.
Yeah. I mean, you had that conversation, Brian. Let me ask you this: Al Harris as the assistant head coach, is that a Mike McCarthy thing or is that a Joneses thing?
Well, yeah, I think it was loyalty to Al for not leaving.
Okay.
You know, I think Al had an opportunity to go to Seattle and coach there.
Sure.
Maybe he had an opportunity to go to the Commanders with Dan.
Because would he be a candidate if he's a Jones guy?
Real quick, and I never tell anything quick. I'm sorry, folks. I really am sorry.
Oh, please.
But Al and Joe Witt, I don't think got along particularly great. I didn't think that. So to go to the Commanders might not have been as clean as maybe I think it, but I think there was some friction between those two. And so I think it was a thing where they're just were saying, hey, job well done. You know, and that's why they name now the I'm having my doubts too about Mike Zimmer. I tried to reach out to Mike today and tell him congratulations on his engagement and
Yeah.
thank him for, for all the things that he, the things that he, the way he carried himself were a lot of things we talked about on our shows.
Yeah.
Type of guy he's going to be and all that. And I said, hey, thank you for living up to the hype. But I haven't heard back from him. I don't know, man. I'm kind of torn
Sure.
how that's going to end up for him.
Yeah.
I really am. And I think he knows the drill with the Joneses. And I don't think he's expecting anything fast to happen. I think he's just kind of like, he's been here a long time. He knows how they operate. And so he's just, he's probably going to wait and see what the situation entails. So they're going to bring Mike back, and then they bring Mike back. Then, then maybe Mike Zimmer then becomes, they talk about him. But there also could be a thing where McCarthy could come back and Zimmer could say, you know what? Yeah, I appreciate what you guys did. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm going to move on. And then that would be your third defensive coordinator.
Sure.
Actually, the fourth defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
In the Mike McCarthy era of coaching. If you go back to Mike Nolan, and then and then Dan Quinn, and then George Edwards, I think, there for a little bit to finish out the year or something like that. But yeah, they've had way too many defensive coordinators here for what they've needed to do.
Bryan, let me ask you a question. When you're having coach movement like this or possible coach change, when you're scouting and evaluating players, but you have no clue,
this is tough,
and you have no clue who your coach is going to be.
This is tough.
How do you do that?
Man, you go out there with a plan of an idea of the type of players. Now, Mike Zimmer's really good at this, where Dan Quinn was a little bit more hands-on. And I think this is where the scouts really appreciated Dan Quinn, is that Dan was shoulder to shoulder, be at the workouts, be there to help with the workouts, be there with the evaluations. I think they really appreciate that. Zim is more, hey, whoever you bring me, I will coach. If you want my opinion, I'll give you my opinion, but whoever you bring me, I'll coach. Yeah. And so when you're in the teams that traditionally draft really well, and the Pittsburgh Steelers come to mind to me because of the continuity they've had. They've had 3 head coaches in their history. Well, since 1969, Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and now Mike Tomlin. And they've run the same schemes in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And that continuity, boy, their scouts just know exactly, that's our guy. That's our guy. That's our guy. They know that when you're a team that's constantly turning over your coaching staff, your team looks funny getting off the bus.
Sure.
Because some coaches like shorter guys, some guys like taller guys, and now your team just has no uniformity to it. So that's the struggle when all of a sudden when Mike Nolan wants a certain style, they switch coaches. Quinn wants a certain style. Now they have to go back and look at the players that Nolan didn't want, but now Quinn wants.
Yeah.
So that part of it is very difficult. You're going out there eliminating guys, and then you get back to the office, and next thing you know, there's a coaching change, and now you have to go back and look at all those guys that you said not for us.
Yeah.
And now they're part of what you're trying to do. So very difficult.
Man, Bryan, I'm looking at my big board. I'm just looking at it because I can see it, so I can visibly see it.
Okay, do me a favor at your big board. And do me a favor, okay, you're picking in the 12 hole.
Yes, sir.
You can't take a running back. You can't take Genty at 12.
Okay.
You can't take a wide receiver at 12.
Okay.
You can't take a safety at 12.
Okay.
Pick me a player.
You want 1 or 3?
You're not allowed to take Graham. Graham's gone.
I'll give you my answer, and I'll give you a answer with a condition or whatever, right? In this situation, I'm taking Jahdae Barron, the corner from Texas.
I think I am too.
Yeah.
I think I am too.
Now, if I get a clean bill of health, I'm taking Josh Simmons, the tackle from Ohio State, because he's the best.
I should have thrown the provision of you have to take medically clean guys.
Okay. I'm taking Jahdae Barron. I have Jahdae Barron ranked over Kelvin Banks.
Do you
Jr.
have him over any of those receivers?
I'm struggling with him in the Ohio State receiver, but currently no. I think I would take Ibuka over Barron.
Okay.
But if you ask me tomorrow, I might take Barron over Ibuka. But
and I think Barron is a really, really good player.
I think he's the best man cover corner in this draft. And when you look at this is how I look at it, Brian. If you play in multiple spots and you're not a good player, then they call you tweener. But if you play in multiple spots and you good at all them spots, or you a hybrid player, you versatile. Bryan Broaddus, I think he can play 3 different positions and he's not bad at none of them. I think he can play at outside corner. I watched him in 2023, Brian. He played nickel that whole year and was damn good at it.
Yeah.
And I think he can actually play spot safety sometimes, to where you could just kind of move him around the formation, just let him roam and ball hawk, or if you want him to chase a tight end down, or if you have an all-star small receiver type guy that needs following, let him do it, Bryan Broaddus. I think Jahdae Barron is a first-round type talent, and I'll take him. If I got 11, 12 top talents, he's a top 12 guy to me.
Second round. You could either take a runner or a one technique.
You know, great minds think alike, Bryan Broaddus. I was going to try to hit you with this same nonsense because I was looking at the second round guys, and I was going to
let you. I was going to get to you before you got to me.
Brian, let me tell you something else I did. I rewatched Tyler Booker, and then I watched the LSU game. Boy, how did you not see him beating the hell out them kids at LSU?
I'm just telling you, man.
He was driving the hell out them kids at LSU, Brian.
Okay, all right.
But if I could only pick, what'd you say, a defensive tackle or a running back?
You could take it in the second round.
Okay.
You could take a running back
or a defensive tackle
or a one technique defensive tackle.
Brian, let me tell you how good I am at content to piggyback off of what you just gave me. I think I
think you were stalling that.
No. Watch this, Brian.
No.
Because I got my big board. Because I can see my big board, Brian. Because look at my big board, Brian. I think the run on defensive tackle happens right here.
Oh, here we go.
It happens.
Here we go.
It happens right here. I think running.
I agree.
I think running back can stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think you may find some dudes in the third. We ain't got a fourth.
Bro, I was about to say, you don't got a fourth. You better make some hay.
That defensive tackle run happens right now. As soon as you get on the board, you might start it.
You might start the run.
If Kenny Grant goes right before you, Tyleek Williams ain't far. Derek Harmon ain't far.
No.
Deion Walker ain't far. So I'm taking defensive tackle right here, Brian, while the getting's good. And I have got to take a running back in the third round. That could be Devin Neal. That could be Scatterbo, whoever it is. But I'm taking defensive tackle right now because they about to run out. The good one's about to run out.
Let me ask you this. Do you think you're going to start the run for the defense? You mentioned that, and I need to look up something real quick here. Do you think there's a possibility that you could start the run of the defensive tackles? You mentioned that.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the case?
I think so, Bryan Broaddus, because I think what's going to happen is that these edges are kind of going to push a little bit, and I think some of these teams, teams overdraft people all the time. So I think what's going to happen is this happened a couple of years ago with corner. There were so many corners that people was like, I'll just take a cornerback later because there's so many corners. I think that may happen. And so, so we got number 12 and we got 44 overall. I think.
Yeah, I was looking. Did you look at the rounds? You look at all the rounds?
Yes, sir. I can pull up the full order for you. Boom.
Gotcha.
Share
Gotcha.
screen. Bam. Here we go. Ignore these ads on the side.
I was tankathon it, but you're much better at technology than me.
That's all good, Bryan Broaddus. So
okay, there you go.
You got to pick right here at 12. Can you see that, Bryan?
I can.
Okay, cool. So you got to pick right here at 12, and you got to pick at 44.
Right.
I think the run is going to happen somewhere between. I think they all going to go between 30 and 52, Bryan. That's what I think they're going to go. 30 and 52.
And you got to pick at 42, right? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir. And you got 44. You got 44.
44.
You got 44, Bryan, bro. I'm taking a tackle right here. I think this is the last opportunity you're gonna have to really, because honestly, Bryan, what really happens with these one techs is they're either good enough to go early or they go like in the 6th or 7th round or something.
Right.
I think if you have the opportunity to get a really good, I hate Mozzie couldn't be this for you, but if you get a really good chance to get one of these guys, I think you got to take one at 44, and you take your chances with a running back at 76.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
I always love to play this game too.
Yes, sir.
And I can see your screen, but it is a little small for me. But you'll help me through this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There you go. Appreciate you there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there somebody behind you in that first round that has multiple second round picks or third round picks?
A team behind us that got multiple. Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
So the Dolphins have a 2 and 2 3s.
Okay, so the Dolphins are a team.
The Colts do not. The Falcons ain't got no damn picks. They probably I don't know what they do. Cardinals do not.
Yep.
Bengals do not, and the Seahawks. The Seahawks got a 1, a 2. Nope, the Seahawks do not neither. So the best shot you'll have
so the best shot is the Dolphins.
Is Miami.
And the Dolphins are sitting right behind you.
Yep.
And I don't think that they're going to give you a third round pick for a one spot move, right? Is that what we're talking about?
I can look a little farther. Let's look at Houston, Denver, Tampa, Pittsburgh, and LA.
But how far do you want to drop? I mean, do you want to start the tackle run at the end of the first round?
I tweeted today, Bryan, I would trade back damn far. Let me tell you my haul. Hold on, let me take this off
Who
screen.
did you go to? Who'd you go to?
I don't know exactly where I went, but I just had an idea for the guys that I had, right? Let me show you. If I can move,
I'm really
back,
good with these numbers too. I'll have all these numbers for how much these picks are worth, and we'll have some fun one night.
I gave you guys a shout out early there, Bryan Broaddus.
How about that, man?
Pull that up.
Look at those three Titans I was working with that day.
Yeah,
that's some friggin' firepower right there, man.
Those some dudes, man. Inspiring.
Yep.
So, Bryan, what I said today was trading back and walking away with Josh Simmons, Kenny Grant, Savion Williams, and Devin Neal. I might go to jail. That's what I said right there, Bryan.
Kavanaugh today was telling me that TCU wide receiver's legit.
Boy, he would be perfect for the operation that we're trying to pull off out here, Bryan. Boy, he'd be
Jeff
fantastic.
says he's a good-looking player, big physical guy. Yeah,
I'll let you watch him, Bryan. But
I will.
As of now, I mean, you can. The farthest I would want to move, Bryan, is maybe 14, 15, 16. Maybe. I would move back a couple of spots. Indy, Atlanta, Arizona.
Be nice if you could hit a couple of third round picks.
Yeah.
Back to back. You know what I'm saying?
Atlanta ain't got no picks, man.
Atlanta got nothing. Atlanta's calling.
Yeah, Arizona. Yeah, ain't gonna. So yeah. That's kind of what we're dealing with. Unless you want to get into like the next year's twos, but I ain't here for the next year's twos.
We got holes, bro. We got holes.
But to your point though, trading back is something that makes a lot of sense to me because I just sat back and I thought about what this day 2 would look like. Bryan, I would love to walk away with a receiver, a running back, a one tech. And if I can get a guard, I would love to take one. That's 4 different positions I would love to have. And I think the only way you can pull that off is trading back just a little bit, Bryan. Plus, I
worried?
think Dallas would love to try to get that 4. I think they. I don't.
No, there's no question. It ain't going to be as good. It ain't
Yeah.
going to be as good as what they initially had.
Sure.
But man, you and I are going to be sitting there on day 3, and we're going to be looking at each other like, what the hell? I mean, there's going to be guys on our board. I'm going to look at you and I'm going to go, Voch, who do you got left? And you're going to tell me I got 3 third-round guys on my board right now.
I got Nick Scorton left, Brian. I got Nick Scorton in the 4. But
Nick Scorton.
But
how far back? I mean, how far? I mean, we're going to get the depth of this draft. Do you want to trade past the 15 number threshold?
The way I
do
feel,
you want to trade? I mean, do you want to leave yourself in that window? Do you want to leave yourself in that 1 to 15 window to make sure you get a first round player off your board?
Here's how I look at it, Brian. I got 11 first round picks. Y'all may have more, but I got 11.
Yeah. Right.
3 quarterbacks are likely going to go within that range.
Yeah.
So that leaves me with like 12 slots. You know, so I could get wiped out, but I don't think it's likely that I get wiped out because somebody's going to like one of these players that I don't have as a first round talent. As long as I walk away with one of my first round talents, Bryan Broaddus, I think.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Back to
How
15.
far back do you want to carry yourself out of this window?
I think 14 and 15 is fine.
So we got to work on that.
I think 14 and 15 is fine.
So anything past say 15, we got to assume that's carrying us out of our window.
That definitely carries us out of our window. But
so you got to make it worth our while to get carried out of the window.
But Brian, I'll tell you what. Just looking at my board, the sweet spot is in the damn second round. So look, and this is how I feel, Brian. Let me just let me pull up mock draft here, right? If we're not gonna get,
can you blow that up for me a little bit? Just blow it up a little bit
more.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
So Brian, if we're not getting names like McMillan, Graham, Carter, or like Genty,
yeah,
I think we can move around a little bit. See, Kenneth Grant goes here at 17. Pierce goes at 16. Simmons goes at 18. I think if you pick, okay, so for example, Brian, we said that we would pick Barron, Jahdae Barron, the cornerback from Texas.
Right.
We said that we would pick him at 12. How much difference is Jahdae Barron at 12 versus Kenny Grant at 17 or James Pierce at 16?
I know.
You know what I'm saying? So if I got to move back, so look, at 21, Siobhan Revelle goes here at 21. If I can get Siobhan Revelle and another second and maybe a 4, I'll move back to 21.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting him probably because of the injury.
Yeah,
is what you're doing.
Yeah,
you're probably getting him because of the injury.
Man, you see Tyler Booker right here going at 25. Booker, man, you crazy? You mean to tell me? So I can get Tyler and what's the Chargers' second pick there? They got 57. So Brian, you can get your running back at 57.
Yeah,
you could get who I just got, Revelle here. You can get your defensive tackle here at Dallas at 44. You can get your running back at 57, and by the time you get to your 76 pick, you can do what you want to do, man. But Cowboys, I think the Cowboys are going to have to pick up the phones and be aggressive here. I don't think they could just wait around and let somebody call them.
I'm telling you what, man, if you could find a way, and they did it with BB last year, right?
Sure.
They did it. They traded back. They got Detroit got desperate.
Yep.
Came to you overpaid. So what you did was you had the 2 3s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
I'm okay.
Yes.
I'm okay. If you tell me I got a first, a second, 2 3s, you can have the 4. You can have the 4.
Yeah.
We're good. You can have the 4. Let me pick twice in the third round.
Yeah.
And I won't worry about that 4. I won't punish you for the 4.
So Brian, here's the argument now. The Lions only called you because Tyrion Arnold was on the board.
No question.
And they wanted him. And Tyrion Arnold may have been their best corner.
Right.
Brian, now I ask you. Let me pull my big board up, right? Pull my big board up. Let's say Luther Burden falls to you. Do you take him or do you trade back and get the haul? Would you trade away from Luther Burden for an extra 2 and a 4? I know.
The extra 2 and the 4.
I know, Brian.
Because I'm going to sit there Luther Burden.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to it. Man, it depends on how far I go. I really do like Luther Burden.
Sure.
I mean, I got him, McMillan, and the Ohio State kid all in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
You saying that Burden is the last wide receiver I can get, right?
He's the last
first round wide receiver I can get.
No. Right? What I'm saying is, I think there's a line with elite players that'll make somebody come in and get you. Nobody's gonna give you picks to get Ibuka. Nobody's gonna give you picks to get Barron. They're gonna give you picks for Genty. They'll give you picks for Burden, or if like McMillan drops. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to make it difficult on you. Do you take McMillan or Burden, or do you trade away from those guys for the extra second and the fourth? That's what I'm asking you. Of course we'll move away from Malachi Starks. Of course we'll move away from Kelvin Banks. We'll move away from those guys.
Yep.
What about Burden? What about
Burden?
What you're doing. What about Burden, bro?
Oh, man.
I know. You're right.
Man, I tell you what, I am.
Yeah.
But the depth of this thing is like when I'm looking at my board right now, the second round, the third round.
That's where the dude's at. Yep. That's where the dude's at.
You know what? Let's go. Let's go.
I'm a coward, Brian. I'm taking Luther Burden, and we gonna throw the football around here. But Brian, I think that's what it's gonna have to take, because the Cowboys had to look Tyrion Arnold in the face and go, "Fine, I'll take the third."
We're about to lose the best corner off the board.
Best corner on the board. Yep. Yeah. So that's what it is, Brian. Hey, this is fantastic.
4. So I picked up. I got my own. I moved back in the first.
Mm-hmm.
I got my own second. I got someone else's second, and I got a third and a fourth. I got my forward back, right?
You got your 4. Yep, and you got a 2 and a 4. So now the Cowboys they got a pick in the 20s, and they got a pick in the 40s.
Yeah.
And maybe like a pick in the 50s, and then they got their picking at 76.
Let's go.
26, 44, let's say 57 and 76.
Yeah. That was a tough one, though.
Yeah. So that way, at least that you move on from an elite dude, but at least you can get a wide receiver, you can get a running back, you can get your defensive tackle and your offensive lineman. You'll be straight.
I picked up an extra player in the top 50, I guess.
Yep.
Maybe, right?
Yep.
Picked up an extra player in the. Well, say I picked up an extra player in the top 60.
Yeah, for sure. So in that,
I got 3 players in the top 60.
Yep.
I'm going to get to draft in the third,
and then the fourth round,
and I'm going to get I get to play in the fourth round now.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go.
I think it's worth it.
Damn, let's go. Yeah.
Now, Brian, I just said that about Burden. Do you feel the same if McMillan drops, or do you just draft him?
Draft him. I'm turning that card in.
I'm drafting McMillan. We can get some picks for Burden, but I'm taking in that situation, Brian. I'm not trading away from McMillan, Carter, or Graham. I'm not trading away from those guys.
I like what you're doing with Graham. Mm-hmm. I really do like what you're doing with Graham.
Yeah.
Michigan defensive tackle. I like what you're doing there.
Yes, sir.
Brian, but you trade away from Banks.
They can have
Burden.
Banks. They can have Banks, Burden, Barron, Starks, Ibuka, Genty. They can have all of them. I want Genty to fall to us, and somebody want Genty bad enough that they'll get us back in the fourth and another 2. Please.
Okay, you have it. The phone's ringing. Do them.
Okay.
Do them.
Okay.
Do you think they take those deals that you and I just talked about? If Genty's on the board.
Honestly, I don't, because I think the national football.
I don't think they do
I think the NFL has improved with running back relations.
Yeah,
but Brian,
even though we went through all those running backs as a possibility.
But Brian, Voch says this, man. But Brian, Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry are changing the faces of these franchises. You know, Brian, what, the running backs valuable again? Somebody move up to get Genty? You think so? Yeah.
Do you think they feel that sitting in the draft and watching them field calls while on the clock?
Yeah.
And say Genty's on the board. That's gonna be high drama right there, because there are gonna be some dudes standing up and loosening ties,
walking around in circles, pacing,
walking around.
It's gonna be me, Brian.
it is MFing each other.
Brian, if we on the radio and Genty on the
yeah,
board and they on the phones
Mm-hmm.
and it's 2 minutes on the clock, I'm going to have to walk out the room. I'm going to have to take that dude, man. But hey, we'll see. Brian, I think that was a fantastic exercise, man. I appreciate you doing it with me. Ladies and gentlemen at home, why don't y'all please go in the comments, let us know if you would just draft Luther Burden or are we weird for one to move on from? Please let us know.
We reserve our right to change our mind here before the draft.
Hey, look, yo, Brian, we got a long time till April. We can change our mind.
We're just doing content. We're a couple guys with camera and a mic. That's what we are.
This is as early as it's been for us in a long time. We normally last year we was prepping for Green Bay right now.
You got me primed for tomorrow, man. You got me primed, ready to go.
Brian, I think as long as I'm able to kind of navigate in that room and nobody try to tell me to shut up, I think it'll be pretty fun in there, Brian.
It will be. It will be.
I think it'll be.
Look forward to working with you tomorrow, my brother. Appreciate you, man.
We'll see, man. We'll see what day one feels like tomorrow. Hey, but for the rest of y'all hooligans, y'all look, man. Derek Eagleton didn't make the damn announcement. I feel away every other year. Derek Eagleton, the lineup for the draft show is, and now Voch just got to show up to work. And y'all will see me in the thumbnail or something. It's whatever. But yeah, man, we're gonna do draft show tomorrow, man. I'll be there Tuesday and Thursday, but I rotate past that, so we'll see.
So tomorrow night, draft show review.
Draft show. So y'all know how y'all watch like
so
The Walking Dead.
You get to MF like Kyle Yeomans and
I'm an MF. I'm an MF anybody to their face first, and then we come here.
and then come on the We're Doing All Right podcast and MF them too, huh?
If anybody ever watched The Walking Dead, The Walking Dead will come on, and right after that, it'll just be people talking about The Walking Dead for an hour. That's what me and Bryan Broaddus gonna do on Doing All Right on Tuesdays and Thursdays. All right. VOCHLOMBARDI, and y'all be sure to tap into BRY getting Broaddus on social medias. All right. Fun day tomorrow. Y'all hold it down. We'll catch you. Crown.